Okay, okay, good. Okay, fine. So that means half the students are still at the very basic stage. So I hope that everyone knows what is the syllabus of anthropology. Is there anyone who has not gone through syllabus of anthropology? Can raise the hand. Okay, so everyone knows what is syllabus of anthropology. So there are two papers, paper 1, paper 2. So paper 1 syllabus includes physical anthropology, sociocultural anthropology, and there is something called anthropological theory, 3 parts. And paper 2 has 2 parts. It's about Indian society, first Indian society and culture, first part. Second part is tribal anthropology. So this is your overall syllabus divided into 5 major parts. So today, when I discuss paper 1, I will broadly cover, when I take up paper 1, I'll be covering the almost, I will just give a glimpse of syllabus of paper 1, which will include all 3 subparts, that is physical anthropology, sociocultural anthropology, and anthropological theories, because questions are coming from all these 3 parts. And there is again, can anyone tell me how many branches are there in anthropology? How many? How many branches are there in anthropology? If those who have read anthropology at least once, I think around 4 or 5 people have read anthropology syllabus. They can answer.
So there are 4 branches in anthropology, sir.
Okay, nice, Monisha. So can you name them?
Yes, sir. The first one is sociocultural anthropology, and the second is biological anthropology. Third is archaeological, and the last is linguistic anthropology.
Okay, correct. So there are 4 branches of anthropology. One is biological anthropology or physical anthropology, and second is sociocultural, third is archaeological, and fourth one is linguistic anthropology. If you go through your syllabus of paper 1 is again divided into these 4 parts, but it is in haphazard manner. It is not segregated into these 4 parts. So unit 1 to 11, there all the 4 branches are covered, and you have to give equal emphasis on all the 4 branches. Especially archaeological anthropology students are neglecting, because in the syllabus only small unit is given in the name of archaeological anthropology. But if you look at questions, many questions are coming from archaeological anthropology also. So you have to cover all the 4 branches. So I request Topper IAS team to share the question paper quickly so that I can start. Or does everyone have a question paper with you right now? Anthropology paper 1 of 2021.
Because actually, I'm trying to share the screen.
Okay.
And you're actually the co-host. You can actually share your screen, sir.
Okay. Let me try. Okay. Now, whether you are able to see my screen, question paper?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
It's visible, right? Okay, we'll start with the questions now. See, I told there are 4 branches of anthropology. Okay, just look at this question paper, and when you see this entire paper 1, you will see that all the 4 branches are given equal emphasis. Okay. Since half the students have already gone through the syllabus and half of them have not gone through the syllabus, I'll try to keep it very basic, okay, so that everyone can understand. I'm not going to go too much into depth but I will just give the approach how I have answered this question paper, and how you can structure your answers, and how you can write good answers in anthropology. So this is what is going to be today's agenda. Okay. I hope that everyone has joined by this time, and there is no one other left to join.
Yes, sir. Most of them have joined.
Most of them have joined. Okay. Okay, let us start. Okay. So if you look at paper 1, so for the beginners, I'm going to tell that there will be 5 questions. Okay. And there are total 8 questions. There are total 8 questions in this paper. Out of 8, you have to answer only 5 questions. See, if you read, you have to read the instructions very carefully. Candidates has to attempt only 5 questions. There are 8 questions given, and here, if you read, question number 1 and 5 are compulsory, and the remaining questions you have to choose. You have to choose any 3 questions to write, but the condition is at least 1 question from each section you have to attempt. That means from section A, question number 1 is compulsory, and you have to choose any question number 2 or question number 3 or question number 4. If you look at the person who has marked, who has written this paper, you can see that he has tick marked. Question number 1 is compulsory, he has marked. Maybe he attempted question number 2 and he has cancelled question number 3. That means he is not going to write question number 3. And he has again marked question number 4. That means he is going to attempt question number 4. Again, question number 5 is compulsory, that we have to write. Then between question number 6, 7, 8, you have to choose one. If you look here, he has tick marked question number 8. That means he has attempted this question and he has left other 2 questions. So in every optional, the same situation will be there. So out of 8, you have to choose. So since you have a choice here, what people do is, what is their strength? If your strength is physical anthropology, you are going to choose questions from physical anthropology. If your strength is sociocultural anthropology, you are going to choose sociocultural anthropology questions. But UPSC, this was the case till 2017 and 18. But UPSC is again very smart. What they have done is, they have started mixing the questions. So if you look at question number 2, it is mixture of physical and sociocultural anthropology. So they are mixing everywhere, so that they want students to write in all the 4 branches. You should be thorough. Then only you'll be able to write. You can choose questions properly. Earlier, what used to happen? They used to separately give physical separate, sociocultural separate. So most of the students used to write physical anthropology questions and leave sociocultural, because always physical anthropology questions and archaeological anthropology questions are considered more scoring. They are more objective. So now what UPSC is doing is, they are started mixing. Question number 6, if you see, first question is that of physical anthropology, but third question, if you see, that is sociocultural anthropology. So if you choose question number 6, again you should be thorough with both physical anthropology and sociocultural anthropology. So like that, they have started mixing everywhere. So because of this, now what is happening is, you cannot leave any one section. So earlier it used to happen that if you neglect any one section, say if you're not comfortable with archaeological anthropology, so you can just skip it and focus on others where you can score. But now that is not the case. Now you should be thorough with all the cases. Okay, is that clear? All are with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So everyone is comfortable in English, or you want in Kannada?
Sir, both is fine.
Both is fine. Okay. Okay.
Either of it is fine.
Let's start. Anyone doesn't know Kannada here? Okay, fine. Start madana. So let's come to question number 1. See, question number 1 is compulsory question. So compulsory question, there are 5 questions of 10 markers each. So for 10 markers, you will have 2 pages. So in 2 pages, you have to finish this answer. So let us see, each first question is about animism and deep ecology. Okay. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, ಎನಿಮಿಸಮ್ ಈಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್. ರಿಲಿಜನ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಇದೆ, ಒಂದು ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ ಎಂಟೈರ್. ಸೊ ಪೇಪರ್ 1 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಸಿ ಅರ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತೈತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಗಿವ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಒನ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್, ಓನ್ಲಿ ಎನಿಮಿಸಮ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಫಾರ್ 10 ಮಾರ್ಕರ್. ಸೊ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ರೈಟ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಎನಿಮಿಸಮ್ ಫಾರ್ 10 ಮಾರ್ಕರ್ಸ್. ನೌ ವಾಟ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಸಿನ್ಸ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ವಾಟ್ UPSC is doing is they are mixing two things. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎನಿಮಿಸಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡೀಪ್ ಎಕಾಲಜಿ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೌ ಯು ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬೇಕು ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎನಿಮಿಸಮ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಡೀಪ್ ಎಕಾಲಜಿ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಅಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ದಟ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಡೀಪ್ ಎಕಾಲಜಿ ಇದೊಂದು ನ್ಯೂ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್, ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನೂ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಡೀಪ್ ಎಕಾಲಜಿ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಂಥ್ರೋಪಾಲಜಿ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್. ಬಟ್ ಎನಿಮಿಸಮ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹ್ಯಾಂಗ್ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬರೀತೀರ ಅಂತ ಹಿ ಇಸ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಇದೊಂಥರ ವೆರಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬೌನ್ಸರ್ ಇದ್ದಂಗೆ. ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಇಂದ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ವೆರಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬೌನ್ಸರ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ UPSC, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಟು ಅನ್ಸೆಟಲ್ ಯು. ಸೊ ನೀವು ವೆರಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನೋಡಿ ನೀವು ಅನ್ಸೆಟಲ್ ಆದ್ರೆ, ಆ ನರ್ವಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ, ದೆನ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ರೈಟ್ ಈಸಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ, ಯು ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಮೇಕ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್. ಸೊ ಹಿಂಗಾಗಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಹಿ ಈಸ್ ಕೀಪಿಂಗ್ ಬೌನ್ಸರ್. ಸೊ ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಈಸಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ನೀವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಡೀಪ್ ಎಕಾಲಜಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಡೀಪ್ ಎಕಾಲಜಿ. ಬಟ್ ಎನಿಮಿಸಮ್ ಇಸ್. ಸೊ ಎನಿಮಿಸಮ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಬಿಲೀಫ್ ಇನ್ ಸೋಲ್ಸ್, ಆತ್ಮದಲ್ಲಿ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಇರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಎನಿಮಿಸಮ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಡೀಪ್ ಎಕಾಲಜಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೂ ಆತ್ಮಗಳಿಗೆ ಏನ್ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಅಂತ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಷ್ಟೇ. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಲಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಬರಿಬೋದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಈಗ ಸ್ಯಾಕ್ರೆಡ್ ಗ್ರೋಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬರಿತೀವಿ, ಎನಿಮಲ್ ನ ವರ್ಷಿಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಕೌನ ವರ್ಷಿಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಹಿಂದೂ ರಿಲಿಜನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ರಿಲಿಜನ್ ಅಂತ ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಟೇಕ್ ನೇಚರಿಸಮ್, ನೇಚರ್ ವರ್ಷಿಪ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ನೇಚರಿಸಮ್, ನೇಚರ್ನ ಯಾಕೆ ವರ್ಷಿಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು, ನೇಚರ್ಗೂ ಒಂದು ಜೀವ ಇದೆ, ಆತ್ಮ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ವರ್ಷಿಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಹೀಗೆ ನೀವು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನಿಮಿಸಮ್ ನ ಡೀಪ್ ಎಕಾಲಜಿಗೆ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಟ್ರೈಬಲ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟೀಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಎಸ್ಕಿಮೋಸ್, ಅವ್ರೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ದೇ ವರ್ಷಿಪ್ ಗ್ಲೇಷಿಯರ್ಸ್ ವರ್ಷಿಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಗ್ಲೇಷಿಯರ್ಗೂ ಆತ್ಮ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ನಾವೀಗ ಹಿಂದೂ ಧರ್ಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಗಿಡಗಳನ್ನ ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಸೊ ನಮ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಗಿಡಕ್ಕೂ ಆತ್ಮ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಹೌ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್, ಹೌ ಯು ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಎನಿಮಿಸಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡೀಪ್ ಎಕಾಲಜಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನಿಮಿಸಮ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು. So next, if you know definition of deep ecology, you have to give definition of deep ecology. If you don't know, just link animism with deep ecology and write what are the similarities between animalism, deep ecology. Idella example kottu you have to write what are the similarities. Now if you have time, because you have to finish it in 7 minutes, mostly you will write similarities, then you can write conclusion. But if you have time, you can write differences also. So differences andre ಇದು ಒಂಥರ ಒಂದು ಬ್ಲಾಂಕ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಎನಿಮಿಸಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡೀಪ್ ಎಕಾಲಜಿ. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ರೈಟ್ ದಟ್ ಬೋತ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್. ಸೊ ಅದು ಅಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಆಂಗಲ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೈಟ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ಪೇಸ್. ಇಫ್ 2 pages ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಉಳಿದಿದ್ರು, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೈಟ್ 1 para ಅಬೌಟ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸಸ್, ಸೇಯಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ in modern societies there is no link between ecology and animism, because belief in souls and animism today's in modern societies it is not existing. So today environmental degradation is happening because of lack of lack of ignorance of religion. Like that you can also add. Then finally you can conclude that how it is beneficial. ಈಗ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ರಿಲಿಜನ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಕಂಬೈನ್ ವಿತ್ ಎಕಾಲಜಿ, ಹೌ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಎಕಾಲಜಿ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಯುವರ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್. ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್, ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್, then with few points on similarities, few on differences, with you have to substantiate with example and conclude. So 2 pages only. This is how I have attempted this question. So you can go like this. So idralli enagutte, see now anthropology is becoming more dynamic and application oriented. So munche ella animism andre you used to write some standard definitions given by E.B. Taylor. E.B. Taylor our own book alli animism ಬಗ್ಗೆ detailed ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. You used to write about that and finish it. But nowadays he is not asking that. He is asking more of application. So how animism is related to ecology, environment ಅಂತ. So you have to prepare in these lines. So ಈ ತರ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. And second thing, so I think question number 1 is clear. Anyone has any doubts?
The conclusion part, how can we make it more attractive, sir?
How I have written conclusion is, see there are my conclusion I will tell you what I have written this year. I have simply written how the lack of regard for religion is leading to environmental degradation, and it is not leading to sustainable development. But when we bring the can you please mute?
You please mute.
Yeah. So okay. So you can conclude by saying what I written conclusion is. I have written that for the sustainable development goals, if you have to achieve, the concept of animism is very still relevant even today. So that is my conclusion. So you can make it more attractive. I didn't have time to come up with better conclusion. Given within 7 minutes, I have to finish everything, all these things with examples. I have written this conclusion. But if you think and innovate, you can come up with even better conclusion, because it is very open-ended question. It is totally open-ended. It is left to your interpretation. You can use all your imagination and come up with any conclusion you want. And if you see, all the questions of 10 markers are open-ended. You can write anything. There is no restriction. The more you innovate, the more marks you are going to get in these questions. Unlike 15 marker and 20 marker, they are asking specific things. But here there is no specific thing. He has simply said animism and deep ecology. You can write anything you know about them. So if the evaluator likes your innovation, you will be rewarded. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, we'll move on to second question, marriage regulations and alliance theory. So this is straightforward question from alliance theory of Levi-Strauss. So you would have read about alliance theory, and what he has done is he has combined two things. One is in your syllabus, there is straight away part called marriage regulations. How many marriage regulations are there? Anyone who has read can answer. Okay. Since there is no time, I will move ahead. So there are three types of. No.
Yes,
okay. Listen. There is prescriptive marriages, there are proscriptive marriages, there are preferential marriages. So these are the marriage regulations. Prescriptive andre yaran maduve agbeku anno rules. Ivrne maduve agಬೇಕಂತ rules iruttalla, like caste endogamy adella, that is prescriptive. Proscriptive andre yaran maduve agbardu. Incest tabu is example of proscriptive. Third one is preferential marriage. Preferential marriage andre it is preferred to marry someone, say cousin marriages in South India, or levirate or sororate. So these are the types of marriage regulations. So now the question is how you link these marriage regulations rules to alliance theory of Levi-Strauss. So nothing but same thing Levi-Strauss has told, but name he has given as alliance theory. So what alliance theory is, when marriage happens between two social groups. So because of that marriage, an alliance is formed between two social groups. So he explains how alliance because of alliances, all the marriages are happening in various societies. So all the regulations that we have seen are related to one or the other form of alliance. So if I see any preferential marriage, so earlier, like kings used to marry their daughters to some other king. So that is an example of alliance marriage. So that you can link with preferential marriage, because such marriages are preferred among kings, so that it builds a new alliance. So like that you have to link. So each type of marriage regulation you have to link with alliance theory of Levi-Strauss and write. So how you can structure this answer is, you can structure each regulation wise. Let's say first marriage regulation is prescriptive marriage. So you have to marry within a caste. So then you have to link with alliance theory of Levi-Strauss, and you have to say that when you are marrying within a group, what it leads is your group doesn't expand much, you become restricted. So your alliance with other groups gets reduced. So because of this marriage regulation, if you then you can come to second marriage regulation, that is prescriptive, where they will tell that you have to marry say, let's say village exogamy in North India. In North India, you cannot marry a girl of your same village. You have to marry someone from outside your village. That is the marriage regulation. So because of that, what happens, how alliance gets built between one village to other village. So that's how you have to link the alliance theory of Levi-Strauss with these marriage regulations. So this is how you can structure this answer and write. So finally, you can conclude by saying that the alliance theory of Levi-Strauss is very much linked to various marriage regulations that exist in society. So like that, you can conclude. So here what they are trying to test is whether you know the concepts, how well you know the concept. Conceptual clarity is what they are checking. So you know marriage regulations, you know alliance theory, but how you are going to connect these two. So that's what the tricky part here. So if the question is just alliance theory, you will write very good 2 pages about alliance theory of Levi-Strauss with examples. If the question is only about marriage regulations, you will write all the 3 rules of marriage regulations with examples. But the here question, what he has done is he has combined both the things and he is testing how you are interlinking. So the paper is thus becoming more dynamic and more application oriented. So this is how you have to approach this question. So next, these 2 questions, if you see, the first and second part, these questions are from sociocultural anthropology. This is for beginners who don't know, who are not completely read the syllabus. The first 2 questions have come from sociocultural anthropology part. And again, third question is also from sociocultural anthropology. So historical particularism and Franz Boas. This is very straightforward question. There is nothing much. It is one of the easiest question because this is one of the theory in anthropology called historical particularism. This concept is given by Franz Boas himself. Franz Boas founded this historical particularism. You have to simply so what is historical? So what is the historical particularism? To conclude, this is one of the repeated question has been asked in years also. Nothing much to. If you read the syllabus, easily obtained. Any doubts so far? Okay, so no doubts. Okay, number 4. The biocultural hallmark of biology. See, you while reading paper. This time I did is while reading I read it as the bio, which is the hallmark of anthropology. So I wrote saying that bioculture the hallmark of anthropology, asking anthropology only biological anthropology. So this mistake I made and only 3 to 4 minutes this question, the wrong answer and came. You should be very careful that you every word, very hurry. You should read properly because answer changes if one word. So such mistakes as I did. So here question is simple and direct. Approach is hallmark of biology. So initially I see 4 branches in anthropology. One is sociocultural anthropology, biological anthropology, ecological, and 4th is linguistic. So he is in biological, one of the sub branch anthropology. In that, how we are going to use cultural approach. When we are reading biological anthropology, it is not biological, it is always socio-cultural part. So this is the of, if you look at entire of anthropology is that it biological cultural. It is not strict segregation that purely biological and this is purely socio-cultural. There are always, so this is what he is asking. What you can write is if through the syllabus, we will read about Australopithecus and of humans. So when
So your
at the
voice
time
is breaking, sir.
yes.
So your voice is not so clear, sir. It's breaking.
Not clear.
It's breaking in between, sir.
Okay. Is it audible now? Does it
Yes, sir, now it's
facing same problem or one?
No, sir, it's fine now. It's fine now.
It's fine.
Yes, sir.
You have to check your internet. I think no other students are facing. So okay, biocultural part. See, biological anthropology, if you human evolution, about how biologically humans have evolved, but also evolved simultaneously. You can write about that. So also when you read about and other things, there are link how sociocultural impact. Last year there was a question about inbreeding and marriage regulations. So how different rules of marriage are affecting your genetics. So that was the question. So when you read biological anthropology, there is some angle of sociocultural always. So you have to write some 5-6 points about giving different examples. When you read, say, ecological anthropology, so different humans are living in different. Some people are living in deserts. Some people are living in very cold environment. So how humans are able to live in environment? That is, if you see a very cold environment, they are wearing culture, but are helping them to survive harsh conditions. You have to 6 to 7 points. So same thing, what syllabus you have to link, right? So that is all. Okay. So on through the syllabus, there are of biological and human evolution. Then there is then ecological anthropology, human met, and these subparts on point how sociology is related to them. What is the so you have to conclude saying, so one of the anthropology, it is a science, it is not a individual, so it related with other things. Okay. Some issue with my internet. Am I audible now?
Sir, in between it's breaking, sir.
Okay.
Actually, there's a lot of disturbance with your network, sir, for breaking in between.
Okay. Now is it audible?
Audible, sir, yeah.
Okay. I think there is some issue with internet. Internet speed is very low here. Okay, but anyhow, move on to fifth question. Just raise your hands whether everyone is able to hear me, so I can move ahead. Okay, 1, 2. Okay. Most of the students are able to hear. Okay. So let's go to question number 5. It's one of the easiest question and straightforward question, thermoluminescence dating. So this you would have studied in detail. You have to write what is thermoluminescence dating, what are its advantages, what are its disadvantages, and you have to conclude. Very straightforward, very easy, nothing to discuss. Okay. So we have done with compulsory question number 1. So if you look here, see, first 3 questions are on sociocultural anthropology. Question number 4 is physical anthropology, but linked to sociocultural anthropology. Question number 5 is archaeological anthropology. So he has mixed all the branches here. He has left out only one, that is linguistic anthropology. Linguistic anthropology is very, very small and very limited. So usually questions from linguistic anthropology are very less. Last year, there was only one question from linguistic anthropology. This year, in the compulsory questions, he has not asked on linguistic anthropology. He has asked on all the 3 branches. Earlier, what he used to do is, see, question number 1 used to be entirely on physical anthropology, and question number 5 used to be entirely on sociocultural anthropology. But now the trend is different. Within question number 1, he has asked all the 3 branches. So now UPSC wants you to read all the 3 branches thoroughly without neglecting any one branch. Okay. So let's move on to question number 2. So here you have a choice, okay, whether to attempt question number 2 or you can leave it. See, let us go through each question and let us first decide whether I'm going to write this question or not. So first question is, what are physical and cultural characteristics of Homo erectus and discuss its phylogenetic status? It's a very straightforward question. So you would have read about Homo erectus. So you can easily attempt this question. Second one is elucidate the concept of thick description of Clifford Breach with suitable example. This is a little bit tricky. You would have read about the symbolic theory of Clifford reach, but he is asking the very specific concept of thick description here, and that you have to write for 15 marks. That is for 3 phases you have to write. So it will be a little bit tricky, but let us see question number 3. So describe the features of early forming cultures and Neolithic of Near East. So this is also a little bit tricky because there is no straight away answer for this question that you will get in standard books. So whatever materials you are reading, in that the content available for this is very, very limited, because he is very specifically asking for farming cultures and Neolithic cultures of Near East. So first you should know what is Near East. Where is Near East? Can anyone tell? Can anyone tell the present day countries of Near East? If you don't know what is Near East, then straight away you have to leave this question. Anyone? So nobody knows what is Near East?
Sir, something which comes near the Middle East area.
ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಏನಿವತ್ತು
Hello?
Near East? Yes, tell.
Hello?
I'm audible, right? Yes, Anand,
Yes.
you can reply.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Sir,
Okay.
Middle East, not literally the east part of the India. It's called Middle East of this Saudi, Iraq, Egypt.
Okay.
That part he is talking
Okay.
about, I guess so.
Yeah. So Near East is present day Israel, Lebanon, that part. Okay. So am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So Near East is basically present day Israel, Lebanon, Syria. So that part of the area. So what he's asking in that part of area, he's asking you to write about Neolithic culture of that part. So Neolithic and early forming cultures of that part. This is very, very specific. If you have read archaeological anthropology in depth, then you will know this. Or else it is going to be a difficult question, and I think many students may not attempt this. But anyway, let me discuss this question because I have attempted this question in the exam. So question number 2. So question number 2, part A. About Homo erectus. Very easy question, straightforward question for 20 marks. You have a lot of content to write about Homo erectus, and you can easily write. So what he's asking is very straightforward. He's asking about physical and cultural characteristics of Homo erectus. Discuss its phylogenetic status. So you have to write about Homo erectus. What are its physical features? How was its skull? You can draw the skull of Homo erectus if you have time, or else you can just list out its physical features, its height, weight, then how was its skull, how was its foot, whether he was perfectly erect. So you can write these points. Then he's also asking about cultural characteristics. So what was the culture of Homo erectus? So if you read, Homo erectus was the first hominin to use fire. So he knew controlled use of fire was first known to Homo erectus, and Homo erectus was also living in groups. They were hunting in groups. So there was some kind of social organization present, but we don't know. So these are the various cultural characteristics of Homo erectus. So when you are writing about cultural characters, you have to write also about the various tools that they used. So again, the Paleolithic culture is divided into lower, middle, and upper. So lower Paleolithic culture is done by Homo erectus. So you have to write about lower Paleolithic culture when you're writing cultural characteristics. What are the various tools? Hand axes and clevers were the tools made by Homo erectus. So you can draw hand axe and cleaver and show that these are the tools made by Homo erectus when you're writing cultural characteristics. So finally, is asking phylogenetic status. So phylogenetic status, you have to write what is the position of Homo erectus in the tree of evolution. So before Homo erectus, what was there? There was Homo habilis. Before him, there was Australopithecus. And from Homo erectus, who got evolved? So from Homo erectus, Homo Neanderthals came, or archaic Homo sapiens came. So there are multiple theories about the phylogenetic status. You can write any 1 or 2 theories that what is the exact position of Homo erectus. And finally, you can conclude. Very simple, very straightforward question. 20 marker, you can easily score good marks here. Okay, let me come to second question. This is tricky question. The concept of thick description of Clifford Geertz. So what is thick description? You should know. So thick description is a concept that Clifford Geertz he used it and applied in anthropology. So thick description is that whenever an event is happening, so you can simply write one view about that event. So that we call as thin description. But when you write multiple views about that event, it becomes thick description. So this concept of thick description you should understand. So once you know, so let us say that someone is winking. Okay, you know winking. He gives example of winking. Okay, for Geertz. So winking, I can say that simply it is a movement of eye muscle, like that I can describe. So that becomes thin description. But winking can have multiple meanings. Winking can also mean that you are trying to deceive someone, or you are winking at your friend, or you are giving to give some hidden message by winking. So there can be multiple interpretations of winking. So this becomes a thick description. When I write winking in all these interpretations, it is called thick description. So similarly, what Clifford Geertz does is he goes to Balinese cockfight. So normal cockfight, if anyone sees that, if you give a thin description of cockfight, what you will write? So it is nothing but two animals fighting, and there is betting and gambling going on. So this should be a simple thin description of Balinese cockfight. But what Clifford Geertz does is he gives the thick description of Balinese cockfight. So he tried to understand entire Balinese society by looking at this one small event of cockfight. Okay, so this you have to elucidate. He's asking you to elucidate. So giving example of Balinese cockfight, you have to write how the concept of thick description is used by Clifford Geertz, and he tells about Balinese society. So in Balinese society, what happens is the cockfight is one of the very major event that takes place in them, and it is a very prestigious event. If you win in the cockfight, so entire people around you will respect you. And people not only do betting and gambling there are many hidden meanings in that. So about that he writes. So you have to write that entire, it is there in the syllabus. So you have to write the entire thing for 15 marks. So that is what he's asking. He's not asking any critical evaluation or any negatives of it. He's simply asking to elucidate. Elucidate means you have to simply expand it. So this is what is the thick description of Balinese cockfight. So you have to elucidate and leave it there. So no need to write the opposite views or any negatives about it. Okay. So is it clear? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. We'll move to question number 3. Okay, so question number 3 is describe the features of early farming cultures of Neolithic of Near East. So in the present day, Israel, Iraq, Syria, Turkey, that part is called Near East. So that part, what happened, the very agriculture began there. So last year there was a question on Natufian culture. So this early farming culture is nothing but Natufian culture. So he has repeated the question just by changing the word. So those people who have researched about Natufian culture would have read in depth about these early farming cultures of Near East. So if you have read about Natufian culture, so you have to simply describe what is Natufian culture. Then you have to also write about Neolithic culture. That is, Neolithic is New Stone Age. That is when agriculture began in Near East. So you have to write about that here, 15 marker. So this was a tricky question. So here you can also draw the world map and show where it is there, what is nearest, and how agriculture began there. So first thing is wheat cultivation began there. Then animal rearing also began in nearest only. They started domesticating dogs. They started domesticating sheep that were locally available. So, and domesticating pigs also started there only. So you can write about all these features. Then you can write about various tools used by them. Then how was their society organized? So whether they were hunters and gatherers, or earlier they were hunters and gatherers, then they became semi-nomadic, and finally they became settled. So villages started coming up in that area because of agriculture. So all these features you can write. If you have read it, if you know about it, you can attempt it, or else you can simply skip this question, and you can go for attempting other questions. Okay, so here you see question number 1 is physical anthropology. Question number 2 is sociocultural anthropology. Question number 3 is archaeological anthropology. So all the three branches he has asked in this question. So unless you are thorough with all the three branches, you cannot attempt this question. Assume that you are good in physical anthropology but not in archaeological, then you are going to straight away miss on question number 3. So like that, you should be thorough on all the three branches. Okay. So let us move on to question number 3. So, okay, question number 3. Question number 3 is again, see, how do political organizations of simple societies establish power, authority, and legitimacy? This is a very easy question, but the person who has attempted this paper has left question number 3, and many aspirants have left question number 3, whom I know, because other questions are tricky in this. So question number 1 is very easy. It is straight away from your syllabus, political anthropology, and very straightforward question. In simple societies, how power, authority, and legitimacy works. So in modern day, we have police, courts, law, constitution, everything. But in tribal societies, nothing is there. How their power, authority, and legitimacy works, there are so many notes, examples for this. You can easily attempt this 20-marker question. And it is very straightforward, nothing tricky here. If you have read syllabus once, you can, you know about political, I think paper 1 unit 3 or 4 is about political anthropology. In that, you will have a lot of content to write here, and very straightforward. And you can give a lot of examples about different tribal societies, how they handle conflicts in their societies. You can write about that. Okay, but question number 2, it is also very easy but little bit confusing. See, explain the genetic mechanisms of micro and macro evolution. It is very simple question. Just wait. Am I audible? I think my internet is little bit bad. Can anyone confirm? Okay, thank you, Yogesh. Okay, thank you. Okay, so question number 2, see, explain the genetic mechanisms of micro and macro evolution. Here you might get little bit confused that genetic mechanisms of micro evolution might be different, genetic mechanisms of macro evolution might be different, but no. For both micro and macro evolution, the genetic mechanisms are same. So it is a little bit confusing question, but nothing but he's asking Hardy-Weinberg law and what are the things that lead to changes in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. So they are straightforward in your syllabus itself. You have to write about mutation, migration, natural selection, genetic drift, and non-random mating. So these are the 5 mechanisms because of which evolution occurs. So you have to simply elaborate on these 5 mechanisms. The first mechanism is mutation. So because of only when there is mutation in the genes, it leads to evolution. If there are no mutations occurring in the genes, then your offsprings will be exactly a replica of you. So mutations becomes raw materials of evolution. So evolution might be micro or macro evolution. So just to confuse you, he has given micro and macro words. So even if you remove these words, the answer for the question still remains same. So he's simply asking, explain the genetic mechanisms of evolution. So you have to write about mutation, natural selection theory of Darwin, then genetic drift of given by Sewall Wright. Then you have to write about migration. So because of migration, how gene flow occurs and evolution occurs. And finally, non-random mating. Non-random mating means marriage regulations. So because of preferential marriages, or people prefer to marry a certain color. A white person might want to marry only white guy. So because of that, how evolution occurs. So you have to write for all these 5 points for 15 markers. Then question number 3, discuss the salient features of different traditions. So archaeological anthropology, if someone has neglected, then again he cannot attempt this question, because this is again very in-depth question of archaeology that he is asking. He is specifically asking European Mesolithic. In question number 2, he asked about Near East. Now he is asking about European, and in Europe he is specifically asking Mesolithic. So he is not just asking Mesolithic. So first you should know what is Mesolithic. Mesolithic is Middle Stone Age. So in Mesolithic, what happens was, anyone here seen movie named 10,000 BC? English movie named 10,000 BC? Nobody has seen it. So it talks about, that movie is about European Mesolithic, how European Mesolithic began. You can go and watch that movie named 10,000 BC. Movie name is 10,000 BC because exactly at 10,000 BC, Mesolithic culture begins in Europe, and Paleolithic period ends, and Mesolithic begins at 10,000 BC. That's why they have named the movie as 10,000 BC. Okay, so you have to write out. He is asking salient features of different traditions. He's not asking just European Mesolithic, because if he asks European Mesolithic, you can easily write. You can simply write about Mesolithic culture. What are the different tools used? You can draw the diagram of tools, and you can write the characteristics. But he's not asking that. He's asking different traditions. So within European Mesolithic culture, there are different traditions. So you have to write about those features of those traditions. If you know those traditions, you can write. So one tradition that I know is Maglo-Moshan culture and Tardinosian, Maglo-Moshan tradition and Tardinosian traditions. Two names of two traditions I knew. So I attempted this question because I knew that 90% of the students will not know this, because it is not there in any regular books. So unless you are researched about this, you will not know. He is asking salient features of these two traditions. That is, I know Maglo-Moshan tradition and Tardinosian tradition. There may be some other traditions also. So he's asking about those traditions and their features. This is a very tricky question. If you know, you will get very good marks. If you don't know, better skip it, and you can attempt the last question, which is very, very easy question. Question number 4. Okay, so far clear? Any doubt?
Sir, I had a doubt in the first question, so that is A of question number 3.
A of question number 3. Yes, tell me. What is the doubt?
Yes, sir. Sir, in that they had asked about the how political organizations have been done, no, sir. But your approach was little different. You just specifically said about the tribal people. How could we able to know that they are asking about the tribal content only?
Here he has asked simple societies.
Yes, sir.
Simple societies.
Yes, sir. Established power and authority.
Simple societies means
tribal.
You are not. Can you repeat?
Sir, in my opinion, when first I just read the question, I was just formulating the answer towards the political and all. But your approach was quite different. You mentioned about the tribal anthropology part, which was paper 2-1. So I thought it was quite different. Yes, sir.
No, not paper 2 tribal anthropology. So simple societies are also called tribal societies.
Okay, so I was not knowing this one. Okay, sir.
Okay, so I use the word tribal societies. I mean simple societies. Okay,
sir,
so
okay,
this is very straightforward. Whatever you are told, no political anthropology question, that only you have to write.
Sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So okay, I'll move to question number 4. Okay.
Yes,
so question number 4. Okay. First question, if you see, this is one of the easiest question, but I have not attempted it because I know that 90% of the aspirants will attempt question number 4. Just to be a little bit different, I have skipped it because I knew something about other questions. This is very easy. You can see, elaborate the scope of anthropology and elucidate its uniqueness in the field of social sciences. This is your nothing but unit 1. So in the very first paper 1, unit 1 of your syllabus tells meaning, scope, and development of anthropology. Correct? The very first words of your syllabus are this: meaning, scope, and development of anthropology. He's asking that only. What is the scope of anthropology and how it is unique? So you can easily write very good answer for this for 20 markers. You can write about how anthropology, you can compare anthropology with different social sciences, with geography, with history, with sociology, and you can write how it is different from others. So that's what he is asking. Very easy question. You can write very beautiful answer. You can structure it also very good. And this is one of, I think, very scoring question in this. And many students, those who have read anthropology thoroughly, will not leave these questions. Here you can see that the person who has written this also has marked correct. Okay, so here you have to simply write what is the scope, means you have to write what are the different branches of anthropology, and in anthropology what you will study, that is the scope. Then you have to write its uniqueness. You compare with sociology, you write how it is different. You compare with geography, you write how it is different. So you compare with biological sciences and write how it is different. So like that you can structure your answer and write 4 pages answer easily. Okay, one of the very easy question. So next we'll go to second. See, okay, first time the question is coming on linguistic anthropology. Again, very straightforward, easy question. Mention the major branches of linguistic anthropology and discuss language use in sociocultural setting. Very easy question. So linguistic anthropology, if you read, you can easily write. There are different branches within linguistic anthropology. One is historical linguistics, where you study about how different languages evolved. Then there is another sub branch called how language and culture are related. So all these sub branches you can mention and just write 1 or 2 paragraphs. Then the second part of the question, discuss language use in socio-cultural settings. So how we use language is changes. See, when we are with friends, we use a different language. So when we are in office, we use a different language. So like that, see, based on the settings, based on the people we are interacting, our language use changes. So you have to discuss with different examples. See, when a woman is speaking to a woman, kind of language use, and when a woman is speaking to a man, or vice versa, so the language usage changes. So again, when there is a communication between lower castes, when there is communication between upper castes, the kind of language they use is a little bit different. So again, there are class difference. So rich people and poor people, the kind of language, see, everyone might be speaking Kannada only, but the way rich people use Kannada and the way poor people use Kannada is different. Okay, so the rich and upper class people, they use more of formal words. They don't use informal slangs much. But if you see poor people, they use very much local words. So the very vocabulary of Kannada might change depending on the culture. So you have to give all these examples and you can write very good answer for this. Again, very easy question. Nothing much. If you read linguistic anthropology, all these things you will know and you can attempt it. Okay. So question number 3. So here you see question number 1 was again basic question. Second question was on linguistic anthropology. Question number 3 is on physical anthropology. Very easy question. Chromosomal aberrations can play havoc with human body and mind. It might look confusing, but what he is asking is simply you have to write about chromosomal aberrations. So it is there in unit number 9. There are, in chromosomal aberrations, there are 2: autosomal aberrations and sex chromosomal aberrations. So you can write about both. So you can write all the chromosomal aberrations, and how it impacts. Okay, is it clear, Yogesh?
Yes, sir.
Arshita Srinivas, can anyone reply? Okay, so no doubt in question number 3. So chromosomal aberrations, you simply write all the chromosomal aberrations and how it impacts. So Down syndrome, if you write Down syndrome, how it impacts human body and mind. If you write about Klinefelter syndrome, you write how it impacts body and mind. So simply is asking about chromosomal aberrations and their features. So nothing much, not very tricky question, very easy one. Okay, so I will move to part B. So I think everyone is there. Okay, let me move to part B. So question number 1, human adolescent growth spurt. This is also very easy question, straightforward question, nothing much. So this is taken straight away from the syllabus. So during adolescent, human growth suddenly increases. So you have to write what are the changes that occurs, physical changes, changes in sexual characteristics, all that you have to write, and you have to simply illustrate for 2 pages. So, and you can draw the diagram of longitudinal growth study or velocity curve or distance curve, and show that during adolescence how suddenly there is a spurt in growth. Very straightforward, you can write about that. Then second question, the losses and gains of erect posture. This is a very interesting question. See, erect posture during human evolution, because of erect posture, so many changes occurred in human body, and he's asking about gains. We know about gains. Gains are directly there in our syllabus. So because of erect posture, what happened? Human hands became free. So with freed hands, we could able to make tools and all. So all the gains you can write easily, but the losses due to erect posture is something you will not get in standard syllabus. So because of erect posture, what are the losses? So this we should not have thought about losses. There are some losses. See, what happened was most of us experience back pain. Okay, so the reason for back pain is erect posture that humans took, and also during pregnancy, most of the women they have severe back pain during their pregnancy, because maintaining erect posture during pregnancy is very difficult task. So these are the losses related to erect posture. So you should have done a little bit research, and you should have thought in that angle. Then only you can write about the losses related to erect posture. Okay. So I think it is clear. You can gains, you can write 1.5 pages. Losses, if you don't know, you can write 1 or 2 points. Then you can conclude it. Then third one is race a valid and biologically meaningful concept? This is again straight away from the syllabus. There is an entire unit on race. If you read the unit on race, you will easily know that whether the concept of race is valid today. You have to write concept of race, what are different races are there. Then you have to write why race is a myth, and all humans are belong to single species called Homo sapiens, and how concept of race led to racism. All those things you can write, but here challenge would be how you consolidate in only 2 pages, because the entire unit on race you can summarize in 2 pages. So that will be challenge here, but again easy question, straightforward. See, so first 3 questions were on physical anthropology. Again, see here question number 4 is asking on sociocultural anthropology. This is also straightforward question. He's asking about descent groups. Descent theory of Mayer Fortas, if you are read, you can mention about how Mayer Fortas came up with descent theory. So you have to write, first of all, you have to write what are descent groups, what are types of descent groups, and you can just so nothing much. If you know the concept of descent groups, you can easily attempt this question, and there is nothing to write about any negatives, positives and all. Simply you have to elucidate the concept given by Mayer Fortas. And question number 5, again very easy, straightforward question. What are different modes of subsistence? Again, if you read unit number 6, I think, about economics related to anthropology. So in that there are different modes of subsistence, be it hunting and gathering, be it fishing and fowling. Then there is horticulture, agriculture. So these are the different modes of subsistence. So you have to simply illustrate each. Hunting and gathering, what are the features? Fishing, what are the features? Then you have to give examples of each. Hunting and gathering example, you have to give one tribal community which is depending on hunting and gathering. Second, fishing. Third one, agriculture. So fourth one is pastoralism. You have to give community depending on pastoralism. So very easy, straightforward question. Then question number 6. So again, this is also very easy question. What is acclimatization? Discuss adaptive responses to high altitude and cold climate. So again, you would have read what is acclimatization, adaptation, and all. So he is specifically asking how our body reacts to high altitude. So what happens in high altitude, all that you can write. Then again in cold climate also, how our body initially, what happens initially, we start shivering. Then there is our blood flow decreases in cold climate. So these are the different acclimatization responses. So that you would have read in the syllabus. Very straightforward question. This also you can attempt. But here, if you are choosing question number 6, so next questions are little bit tricky. Okay. So next question is, how are the cases of disputed paternity solved? Discuss the recent techniques. This is again very straightforward question. So how you will solve paternity disputes? You can do blood group comparison. You can do DNA fingerprint. Then you can check whether RH compatibility are there. There are so many techniques. So in unit number 11, you will come about all these techniques. So simply you can mention where all the techniques used for solving paternity disputes. So discuss recent techniques. Recent techniques, nothing but DNA fingerprint is the recent technique. So all the earlier, the based on blood group, by comparing the physical features and facial features, they are old techniques. The recent technique is nothing but DNA fingerprint technique. And third question is, critically evaluate Lewis-Morgan's classification of family. This is tricky question because straightforward, nowhere it is mentioned what are the classification given by Lewis-Morgan of different types of families. But indirectly you can write what are types of families. Means he talks about evolution of family. When he talks about evolution of family, in that he has given different types of families. And you have to critically evaluate, means you have to criticize his concept also. That is the question. First, you should know what are the classification given by Lewis-Morgan. Then you have to write why his classification is wrong. So you have to write critically, means his classification you have to criticize, and finally you have to give conclusion. So if you don't know the types of classification given by Lewis-Morgan, you can skip this question. So you can go for other questions. So question number 7, this also many people have skipped. See, question number 7, part 1 is critically evaluate different types of social stratifications with suitable examples. This is a straightforward question. So there are 3 types of social stratifications. One is class-based social stratification. You have to write class-based social stratification. What are the features, advantages, disadvantages? Then there is caste-based social stratification found in India. Then there is estate-based social stratification that was present in Europe. So these are the different types of social stratifications. You have to give examples. You have to write advantages, disadvantages. So for 20 markers, you can attempt this also. So next, discuss the biosocial determinants of fertility and fecundity. This is also very easy, straightforward question. So you have to write what are the biological factors that affect fertility. Then you have to write sociocultural factors that affect fertility. Then you have to write fecundity. You should know difference between fecundity and fertility. This is also easy. You will know if you have read the syllabus easily. Then fourth question is little bit tricky. This third question, what is anthropometry? Discuss its role in assessing nutritional status and sports capability of a person. Okay, so anthropometry is nothing but various measurements that we are doing and how we are applying it. So this is related to concept of kin anthropometry, and this concept was given by Bill Ross. But here they are asking about nutritional anthropology. So how we are going to check the nutrition? See, in Anganwadis and all, there will be different growth charts. Okay, so if you want to check the nutrition status of a child, so you can use the growth charts. In that, there are some tools to measure the mid-arm circumference of children. So by those measurements, you can estimate the nutritional level of the children. So this is how knowledge of anthropology will help in assessing the nutrition. So that is one part. And second part is sports. So I told about Bill Ross and how he developed this concept by measuring height, weight, and other parameters. You can write whether a person is suitable for a particular sports or not. So that part. So this is an easy 50-marker question. You can attempt. There are 2 parts. One is nutritional part. Second one is sports part. You can write examples. You can write very good answer for this also. Then last question. discuss various tools of data collection in conducting anthropological research. Straight away, unit 8 question, nothing to think. Straight away there in the syllabus, there are various tools like observation, interview. So you can write about each tool, advantages, disadvantages. So lot of content to write in this. You can easily attempt this question. There is nothing. If you write, you are going to get very good marks in this. Then second question is discuss the physiological and evolutionary theories of aging. So here it is little bit tricky because you will be knowing about physiological theories. There are so many theories given in many notes also it is given. There are many theories related to aging, but they are all physiological theories. He's also asking evolutionary theories related to aging. Even I have not come across answer to this. I have not come across any evolutionary theory related to aging. Even I don't know answer to this part, that is evolutionary theories of aging. I know physiological theories of aging. There are so many. There are around 10 theories related to aging. They are all physiological. So even if you write all those 10 theories, you will get good marks. But this evolutionary theories, even today, I don't know what are the evolutionary theories related to aging. So last question, explain the structural analysis of kinship as proposed by Levi-Strauss. So this is again very straightforward. He is simply asking about the kinship concept given by Levi-Strauss and how he has applied his structural theory and analyzed the kinship. So this will be there in many notes. You can simply write about the kinship concept given by Levi-Strauss. So nothing tricky here. I think that is done. So paper 1 is done. Any doubts?
Sir, is there any need to add case study something in the paper 1 part, sir?
See here because you can add, but there is no time and very little scope. Okay, see all the questions
Yes,
we
sir.
have discussed, you can write maximum. You cannot write one entire case study for any question here. Simply you can write some examples. Okay, so even if you know case study, you will not have time because you have to do justification to what is asked also. Usually in paper 1, writing case study, the scope is less. Although you can write it, you'll not have the time to write it. That's what I feel.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. So any doubts further? You want me to do paper 2 also, or will end with paper 1 only today?
Sir, question number 50A.
Question number
50A.
50A.
Yes, sir. That
adolescent.
Posture erectors.
50A.
Yes, sir. You gave an example of
5th B is.
Sir, you gave an example of back pain pregnancy lady.
Yes.
Yeah, sir. Like, can we write present day the young people? I mean, youngest generation using phones and this female bone at the neck is
Okay.
getting evolved as not so matured bones as before.
No, how it is related to erect posture. See, other animals, they walk on 4 legs, okay? And we walk on 2 legs.
Yes, sir.
And see, what are the losses because of this? That's what he's asking. See, animals are walking on 4 legs. They don't have back pain.
Okay.
But we humans are walking on 2 legs. Because of that, we have back pain. That is very common. The cause of back pain, had we been walking on 4 legs like animals, okay? In that case, do you get back pain or not?
Thanks.
So that's what is the question. The question is, you have to evolution part that we are reading. From that question is asked. You have to link. See, you can fetch it too far, and you can write that because of erect posture we are using mobiles, and you can somehow link it.
But
okay, you are fetching the argument too far and linking.
But demand is not for the present society.
Yes. So it is about evolution, not about. See, you can write also if you want to write that point. You can give a subheading saying in the present context. You write a subheading in the present context, then you can write that point.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But the demand of the question is about evolution of erect posture.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So, any other doubts? Is it clear?
Sir, I don't have any doubt regarding the paper, sir, but I had a doubt regarding this note making one, sir. Sir, in this kind of optional subject, we should have an approach towards question and answer format note making, or the other like paragraph wise, sir, which will be more relevant, sir.
See, whatever you are comfortable with. Okay. See, what you can do is note making. There are two approaches, and both approaches are followed by many people. Question answer format is the most popular one, especially in anthropology. But I have not followed question answer format. I have followed notes of each topic wise. So I have made topic wise note, not in question answer format. Whatever suits you. See, if you are comfortable with question answer format, do it. Because many aspirants are doing, more than 60% of people are doing in question answer format. So whatever you are comfortable, you can follow it. No issue.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So any other doubt other than question paper, you can ask.
Sir, if you say anthropology syllabus, no, like we'll make the notes as per the syllabus. If we keep paper one, we'll keep the like syllabus how it is. For that, some 8 to 10 points like that I have made my notes. But if we come across like 3-4 years question paper from last previous year question papers, like he's going out of the, I mean, something very we need to do some research, at least some three questions in touch, like as you told some Mytho motion and Tada motion tradition, European Mesolithic tradition. Those how we need to, I mean, like, is there any analysis like you did and how we can make a safe zone?
See, as you read, no, you have to do a lot of more and more Googling. You have to develop interest in the subject. Okay. See, we read about Mesolithic of Europe and stop there. So whenever you are free, if you have time, see, if you are given 1 or 2 attempts, by this time you know everything about Mesolithic. So you have to just Google. If you just Google European Mesolithic, these traditions, it will come in Wikipedia itself. No need to read, or if you read Ember and Ember, I think in that also, I don't know it is mentioned or not. Maybe it is not there in Ember and Ember. But if you do little bit Googling and research, you will come across these things. So that makes you stand out from others. Okay. So this I will suggest to the people who have given at least 1 or 2 mains with anthropology. They can do this. See, others for you, there are many straightforward easy questions. Why you will attempt that question?
But then
Mesolithic.
Compulsory, no, sir.
What?
1 and 3 is compulsory. What if in case we get the
no 1 and 5 is compulsory, 3 is not. Okay, what if it is asked in compulsory question?
What if we get those I mean googlies in those 1 and 5?
Yeah, it happened in 2020. See, again it is luck. See, last year there are many googlies. One was Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. If you have not read what is Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, you have to simply leave that question. Nothing you can do. And see, these are the googlies will be there, and such googlies you have to leave only. Nothing can be done. So for that, see, what you have to do is you have to do a lot more reading than what is already there in the market. So you have to go one step ahead and develop that interest. And these are all there. See, Sapir-Whorf hypothesis is given in many notes also. Many coaching notes nowadays they have included that. So this Natufian culture was again bouncer last year. 99% aspirants have left that question. Hardly 1 or 2% would have written about Natufian culture. So I read, I have seen people who have written is how they have done some little bit research about Neolithic of Near East. Then only they could be able to write it. Okay. So little bit research is needed, but see, don't worry about bouncer questions because they will be bouncer for all, not only to you.
Okay.
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 So worry about fix. You should not do mistake in standard questions where everyone will write good answers. Okay.
Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Anyone else? Any other doubt other than paper? I will take up.
Sir, I have a doubt. Sir, advanced questions are coming today's papers. I saw 2021 question paper. The questions are coming from, I read some notes. Out of that, questions are coming. Sir, what source do you suggest me?
No, see what notes you are read that you tell me.
Bashme and class notes.
Bashme is not sufficient. Which class?
Sir, institute class.
Which institute?
Top IAS.
Okay, Topper IAS Institute and Basme. I don't know what is given in Topper IAS notes. I cannot comment on that. I know that if you read only Basme, it is not at all sufficient. Okay. So other than Basme, you have to read N.K. Ved book, Sociocultural Anthropology. Then you have to read about archaeological anthropology also in depth. So for archaeological anthropology, you can go through D.K. Bhattacharya sir's book. Okay. And for others, for linguistic anthropology and all, you can refer Braintree. So these value additions you have to do. Other Basme is okay. With Basme, you cannot attempt all these questions. Now questions are very dynamic. Okay. So other than that, you read Braintree for linguistic anthropology, Bhattacharya sir book for archaeological anthropology. For physical anthropology, what you have read, you can read Pinath. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other doubt?
So what are your resources on anthropology, sir, apart from the standard books like Peanut, Braintree, or like that? Apart from this,
in 5 years I have read. In 5 years I have read all these books. I have read Pinath. I have read N.K. Ved. I have read Braintree. I have read Vajiram notes. Then I have read Telugu Academy books. And even Sosin Madam's few notes also I have referred. Because I have written 5 mains, I have read so many things. Okay. But if you are writing first or second time, you don't have time to read so much. So keep your resource limited. Now anthropology, there are so many resources. Okay. See what I am speaking based on my cumulative knowledge, 5 years knowledge with multiple sources I am speaking. Okay. But you keep your resource limited. You can easily attempt this paper with your very limited, because unknown questions you can straight away skip. In compulsory questions, there are no very tricky questions. If you know syllabus properly, you can easily attempt, and there are straightforward questions in optional that you can choose. Okay, so don't do too much. Whatever you have read, revise more and more, and if you have any doubt, then you can refer to other notes. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So I think we can end the session. If no more doubts are there, I will end the session. Any other than paper discussion, if you want anything else, you can ask me.
So excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So will you take paper 2 question paper today or tomorrow?
If you want me to take, I'll take. Tomorrow I cannot take. How
Okay.
many of you want paper 2 also?
So even
Sir,
me, even for me.
One. Everyone wants 1, 2, 3. Okay, everyone wants. Okay, let me do paper 2 also. I'll finish it. See, paper 2, not much.
Sir,
Let me.
sir, there are people who are logged in, like 2-3 people are logged in one phone.
Account.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. No issue. Okay,
Sir,
so I will share the screen now.
Sir, I wanted to ask something.
Yeah. Ask.
Like, sir, after paper 2, what's the next thing you will be taking up, sir? What you will be covering?
Presently, I don't have any plan for that. Okay,
So
I will do only paper 2.
So that we'll read and come some part, like what you will be taking up.
I think the very questions can try, please.
Because there are some students like where only half the syllabus are done. Like you did paper 1 now. Like in that 50% they know, other 50% still they need to be covered. So they were feeling difficulty in this. So if you can tell what we have to look up and come for the next class, it will be more comfortable for listening to the class.
No, but I doubt whether I'm going to take next class or not. So that is the issue. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Mostly I don't have time, but if anything is there, I will let you know. Okay. But at present, I don't have any plan to take second class. But I will let you know by Wednesday. Okay.
I mean, sir, like 5-6 people were asking,
means
whole syllabus can't be covered, like because there. Like
how many students are there for whole syllabus?
Sir,
how many students are willing to take? How many students want whole syllabus class?
I mean, not syllabus explanation, sir. Like one like overview,
like crash course kind of thing.
Yeah, crash course kind of thing. That would be more helpful.
How many are there?
Sir, like half of them, sir. Like near 6 to 7.
7 students. Okay. I can do through Zoom. Okay, for those 7 students. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I can make one WhatsApp group. Okay.
Fine, so that will be.
But I am not sure if you have time. I'll be doing it. Okay.
I mean, this, historical particularism, cultural relativism, like all this.
Understood.
Like all this thing you can say as like direct questions. Like if there is any complicated which we need to focus, like you mentioned about Mesolithic and all, like futuristic, like how upon your analysis, those things.
Understood. Yeah. I if there are 7 students, you can make a list and send to someone in Somsekhar sir or someone. Okay. If you have time, I'll be doing it. So it might take around more than 10 to 20 classes for that.
Okay, sir. Like at least, like sir, if in case at least any 2 part of the anthro, sir, like genetic or social culture, something like that also is fine.
Fine.
Because like
okay, just to make a list of how many students are willing to take it, so that I can make. Understood. See, one, you are interested, and
so by tomorrow,
if more students are coming, then I can. Yeah. Just tell how many students are there, and I will confirm it, because now I don't have time. This class also I have taken after a lot of arrangements. Okay, so let me see. Okay.
Okay, sir. By tomorrow, I'll give it to the.
Even I want my name to be added.
Yeah. All see, anyone can take initiative and make a list and send to sir.
I'll just collect the names and I'll give it to Anuk. So
yeah.
Fine.
So I can plan, because now the date is 26, right? So if I start from March 1st, Maybe within 10 days, I'll try to finish. Okay, by March 10 or something.
Yeah, so like tribal and Indian, we can read ourselves.
So I see if that is the case, I will also be making any Telegram group or channel kind of thing where you can discuss.
Fine,
okay.
Sir. Thank you, sir.
So that. Okay. So now, whether shall I do paper 2 discussion or now 4 o'clock, or we'll end it today? How many want paper 2 discussion now? Raise your hand. No one wants? 1, 2. Only one. Only Monisha wants. No one wants? How many of you want me to end the session now? Raise the hand. Okay, let me finish paper 2 also, because paper 2 nothing much to discuss. It will be very simple.
No, sir. Actually, there will be a class for some people in other classroom now, so they're in dialogue.
What time is the class?
I mean, like within 15 minutes it will be started.
I'll finish in 10 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, so that will be fine because. Yeah.
Okay. No, nothing much. See, it is very easy. Let me share it. Okay. How many are able to? Everyone is able to see paper 2?
Yes, it's visible.
See in paper 2, see, if you have read the syllabus, questions are very straightforward. But the challenge in paper 2 is value addition, like case study in paper 2. Okay, so everyone knows answer to most of the questions in paper 2. There are no tricky or any abnormal questions. Here, your innovativeness is what matters. So how you link this concept with paper 1, how you give different case studies, how you give different examples. So that's what matters. Okay, that's what should be your strategy for paper 2. See here, if you see question number 1, very straightforward, Purushartha and righteous living today. So you have to write about Purushas, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha are the different Purusharthas and how they are linked in present day context. That's what you have to write. So here, the more you innovate, the more uniquely you write, the more rewarding it will be. Okay. So you can link with how today's materialistic world and how people are forgetting dharma, and only artha is, everyone is running behind money, and the only artha is given more focus, not dharma. So like that, you have to write uniquely. If you know any case study also, you can write. You can write a lot of case studies in paper 2 if you know them. And second one is tribe caste continuum. So he's asking relevance. So whether the concept of tribe caste continuum is relevant today. You can write yes, and you can write 4 points. Then you can write no, it is not relevant. You can write 1 or 2 points. And finally, you can conclude. So tribe caste continuum concept, you know who has given the concept and what is the concept. If you are read, you will know that in Indian society, it is very difficult to segregate between tribe and caste. What is tribe, what is caste, you will not know. Okay. Third one is Harappan Seals. Harappan Seals, you would have read in your GS also. In how what were Harappan Seals in what was written. Harappan script is not deciphered, but the seals were used for various purposes. You can write about that. You can write what are the features of Harappan Seals, what they were used for. But even today, we don't know exactly for what they were used because the script is not deciphered. Then fourth one is caste and social capital. Here you have to write about caste and how caste is relevant today and how various caste associations are formed. And see, you should understand what is social capital and you have to link with concept of caste. So that's what is asking. Then fifth one is factionalism and politics in rural India. Very easy question. You can write a lot of examples also. So you can write about 73rd and 74th. Yes, Anand.
So like, can I give some 2 points about caste and social capital?
Okay, I'll give. See, Marwadi caste, you would have heard. Whenever any Marwadi person wants to start a business, their caste people give them loans. They give them advice. So that is a social capital. Okay.
Okay.
So this is one example how a caste group acts as a social capital. See, if you are a member of that caste, then only you will get access to all these. So in this way, a caste acts as a social capital. You can give another example. There will be caste associations. Let's say there is Bunds caste in Karnataka. Okay, Bunds caste will have association. They will give scholarship to their students. Okay, then they build marriage halls, function halls for only for their caste members. So in this way, one caste groups, they build a social capital. Understood?
Sir, like there are scholarship programs for SC/ST also. Even that
Yeah,
can
yeah,
be.
that also you can write. See, when that becomes very general, it doesn't sound like a anthropologist student answer. Okay. See, when I write about Bunts, when I write about Marwadis, so it's like an expert person giving example who has researched about these. Okay.
Right, sir.
So see, if you write scholarship or SC/ST, that becomes GS answer.
Yeah, yeah, sir.
This is how, see, paper 2 is, that's why it is tricky, because a lot of GS things we tend to write here, but we should not write. We should see again. See, question number, this factionalism and politics in rural India. Here we'd be writing about the Panchayat Raj system, so and all that. Okay, so that becomes, see, this is a trap. We write, we fall easily, and we write one page about 73rd, 74th Amendment and all the features and all. See, here as a anthropology, you should have done little bit research. Then what any anthropologist, any one anthropologist who had studied, and you have to write a case study on factionalism and politics in rural India. So maybe about Dipankar Gupta is one person, one anthropologist who writes about politics in rural India. So case study of Dipankar Gupta, what he has done, you can write. So this is how you should approach paper 2. See, or else it is very straightforward GS questions. Anyone can write. Any person who has not read anthropology also will attempt this question, right?
Yes, sir.
Factionalism and politics in rural India, you can generally write 2-3 pages. But if you write names of anthropologists and examples, it becomes unique. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Okay.
I
So
had
next
one doubt.
question. Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, yes.
Because in that relevance question, sir, you said we should write yes and no. When it comes to conclusion, we need to stand from on one side, no, sir, either yes or no. Or we should write the overview of both. Is what the things we written and
Yeah.
the conclusion.
See, it's an open-ended question.
Effective manner.
See, if you take a positive conclusion, it will, see, if you say it is relevant even today, that be much better according to me. Positive approach is always better.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
See, you can take negative approach and write that no, it is not at all relevant. This concept is waste. But taking positive approach is always better.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay. So we'll go to question 2. See, question 2, critically discuss origin of Indus Valley civilization. Mention the evidences of. See, this is very tough and tricky question. I think nobody would have attempted it. So here, what you should know that you should have studied in depth Indus Valley civilization, and he's asking about endogenous origin from pre-Harappan sites. So here there are two theories. One is Indus Valley civilization began from people who migrated from West Asia. People from West Asia came and they built Indus Valley civilization. That is one theory. Second theory is that Indus Valley civilization evolved within India. So whatever earlier communities were there, they evolved into Indus Valley civilization. These two theories. So he is asking you to critically evaluate the second theory, that is endogenous origin. So this is a very tough and tricky question. You can skip it. So no need to do digging and research into this. Give the distribution and characteristics features of Upper Paleolithic culture in India. Straightforward question. You have to simply write Upper Paleolithic culture of India. Third is discuss morphological feature and phylogenetic position Ramapithecus. Again, very straightforward. If you know Ramapithecus, you have to write physical features. You have to write what is its phylogenetic features and whether it is the ancestor of Australopithecus or Siopithecus. That was the debate. You have to write and conclude. But this question you can skip because question number 1 is tricky and lot of research is needed. If you see question number 3, it is very easy. Explain the impact of nature man spirit concept on sustainable use of natural resources with suitable examples. So simple, you have to write about nature man spirit complex. Second, examine the contribution of S.C. Roy in highlighting the role of customary laws in tribal life. So here he is specifically asking about S.C. Roy's contribution in customary law. So S.C. Roy was a lawyer. He was a lawyer by profession. Then he became an anthropologist. So the question is specifically asking about customary laws of S.C. Roy. If you know, you can write, or else you can simply generally write about contribution of S.C. Roy. That also will give you average marks. And third one is critically assess the impact of Christianity and tribal culture and identity. Very easy question. You have to write positive impact, negative impact, and conclude. Then fourth, discuss the contribution of N.K. Bose in understanding tribal communities. So you have to know about N.K. Bose in depth. Then only you can attempt. If you don't know about N.K. Bose, you simply skip the question. Then second, discuss the role of Panchayati Raj institutions in transforming traditional power hierarchy. Okay, so this is also a very interesting question. If you are done, if you know good case studies, you can quote and write this answer. You have to write about Panchayati Raj and how they are changing in rural India. Okay. And third one, elucidate the problems and challenges in educational attainment of scheduled tribes. So again, from tribal anthropology, easy question. So you have to write about why scheduled people challenges of education. If you have read Khaga committee report, he has given very in-depth with lot of examples. From Khaga committee, you can yes, easily attempt this question. You have to write the challenges of tribal education. Then this is the compulsory question, 10 markers. Urbanization and tribal institutions. See, nowadays, again, here he is making question a little bit tricky. See, tribal institutions means you have to write about different tribal institutions, their marriage practices, their family system, and their traditional dressings and youth dormitories. These are different tribal institutions, and you have to link with urbanization. So because of urbanization, see, people, tribals in urban area, they are losing all their traditional institutions and how it is impacting them. So that you have to link and write. Ethnic media and social awareness. So this ethnic media, if you know what is ethnic media, you can write. Even I didn't know what is ethnic media. So I wrote something and came. But ethnic media is, afterwards I read ethnic media means in small communities, what they are doing is they are using radios and other things to communicate with people. Say, one tribal community is there. There is one small radio or Bluetooth device through which they communicate with each other, and through that they are able to create social awareness. If you want to create social awareness about, say, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan in a tribal community in India, so there you don't have internet, you don't have anything. There you can use normal devices like radios. You can use, if they have television. So that is called ethnic media. So this is a little bit tough question. If you know about it, you can attempt it. If you don't know, you can skip and you can leave that question and concentrate on other questions. And third one is cultural diversity and multiculturalism. This is easy question. You should know what is cultural diversity. You should know what is multiculturalism. You can write definitions. You can write how both concepts are interrelated, and you can also write what is the difference between those two. Then finally you can conclude. Then concept of tribe and Indian census. This is again interesting question because concept of tribe has evolved over the years, from 1891 census to till today's census. In each census, the concept of tribe has changed. So whom we call tribe has the study began with Indian census, and it has changed over the years. So this is again there in Khaka committee report. If you read Khaka committee report, in that he discusses how the concept of tribes has changed over the years in India. So straightforward question. If you read Khaka committee, you will write it. So politics of recognition and deprivation. This is also a little bit applied and tricky question. So here you can write about reservation and how various protests are happening for reservation. Then you can also write about politics of deprivation, because of deprivation, how it is leading to Naxal movement and all. So this is kind of tricky, where I know only GS points. Okay, so even I am giving you only GS points only. Here I don't know any anthropological point to write. Even I don't know, but you can go and do a little bit research on any anthropologist who has worked in these areas. Then you can write those case studies and examples. Okay, so politics of recognition and deprivation. So any anthropologist who has worked on reservation system or Naxal issues, I think there is one Veena Das or someone, an anthropologist named Veena Das. She has worked on Naxal issues. No, so you have to do little bit research, or else you can simply write the GS points and come. That is always a safer bet. Okay, so next question number 6, discuss the impact of Forest Rights Acts on livelihood and culture of tribal people. Very straightforward, nothing. If you read Forest Rights Acts, right, what is its impact? Positive impact, negative impact, conclude. Examine the factors responsible for malnutrition in tribal India, suggest interventions required. Very easy. If you know, if you are at tribal anthropology, it's straightforward, so many points you can write. Delineate the factors influencing fertility in Indian population. So again, you have to write biological factors, socio-cultural factors, and why fertility. See, all these years we are worried that fertility is increasing in India, and that fertility rate has come to 2.0 in India. So you can write the present trend also. Then question number 7, explain the impact of successive land acquisition acts on tribal social organizations. So if you know all the land acquisition acts, you can give summary and how it has impacted. If you don't know, you can skip this question. Discuss the problems involved in rehabilitation, resettlement, tribals displaced due to developmental projects. Very straightforward question. It is straight away from the syllabus. Discuss the interventions made by NGOs for empowering tribal women. Again, very straightforward question. You can write a lot of examples. So many NGOs are working for welfare of tribal. So you can write very good case studies also to make your answer unique from others. Examine how structural transformation in economy is affecting traditional social relations in agrarian society. Now, this is also a very good question, easy, straightforward question. Here you have to write about Jajmani system and caste relations and how the present economy is impacting the traditional Jajmani system and the village society, how it is changing. Okay. So next, delineate the constitutional safeguard for religious minorities. This is also very easy. You can write about Article 29, Article 30, Article 350. So all these articles and how Article 25. So all these things you can write. Easy question. He is asking you to simply delineate. Delineate means simply you have to write all the articles and what is mentioned in them. Last, identify the causes of tribal unrest with special reference to Northeast India. So this is a current affair question. In Northeast, there was recently killings of, I think, Naga tribe. And you can write why unrest is there, what are the causes. You can write about political causes, social causes, then economical causes. All the causes you can write with respect to Northeast India. You can draw the map and you can show the reason for unrest. So this is what paper 2. Okay, any doubts?
Done, sir. Fine, sir.
So here the issue is, you see, paper 2 is very easy to attempt because based on your GS knowledge also you can write. Okay, but yes, Anand.
Sir, where do we get like collection of case studies? Is there any bundles?
There is no spoon-fed ready-made material for case studies. I have not come across any institute who has done it. See, you have to take from your newspaper reading. Okay, whenever you are reading something, you have to add to your anthropology notes and do it, or you can Google and do it.
Okay.
There is one. Yes. Yes, Anand, you have raised your hand.
Not like.
No doubts.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. Yes, Monisha.
Sir, how can we make our answers stand outside from others, sir? Because in paper 1, we'll get an opportunity to draw lots of many diagrams. But in paper 2, apart from case studies, what could be done, sir?
See, 2-3 things that is done is case studies, examples, and you can link with paper 1 and write. That also makes your answers unique. That shows that you know anthropology very well. Okay, so you can link various theories like functionalism, structural functionalism. You can link them with the purusharthas and write. Then when you are writing about tribal issues, you can give examples of international examples. Although it might be, you can compare that how tribal societies in when we are talking about displacement of tribals, you can do a comparison between Indian tribals and African tribals and write. So you have to do such innovations, then only your answer stands out, other than case studies and these things, because nowadays everyone is writing case studies.
Yes, sir, that's what.
And don't write like GS, okay? Is it clear, Monisha?
So can I know your yes, sir, can I know your online resources, sir, what you had used? Online resources for this paper or the whole anthropology?
Yeah. So I have done a lot of Googling. I was then I have followed one Telegram channel named Anthropology News, something like that. So in that channel, all the current events of anthropology are given. I have followed that.
Oh, thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. We'll end the class. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else have any more questions? I think that's it.
Okay. Thank you all.
Just to let you know, Sagar sir is always there to help you. Any questions? Yeah, he will always be there. Thank you so much, sir, for addressing the students today. And
Thank you.
yes, sir, we hope to see you again on another session. Thank you so much.